Hello, friends. Today's episode is brought to you by From Within Records. Next week, Frothing Mad 7-inch records will be available, so please stay tuned for that. West Coast, January 2026, the return of Magnitude with Envision, Firestarter, and Stand Tall. What an amazing lineup. I love Envision. They're so rare. So please, if you're on the West Coast, go to as many dates as you possibly can. Shout out Firestarter. Shout out Stand Tall. Two amazing bands. I will be at the San Diego date. Hopefully the LA date. But other than that, I don't know my schedule. But I'm very much looking forward to that. All the bands are awesome. Such a great tour. If you're not following From Within Records on social media, please boot up your Instagram, click that follow button to stay up to date on all the current news. And like I always say, please support From Within Records because they support us. If you're looking for high quality merch for your band or for your business, please hit up my friends over at Good Fortune Printing out of Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. You can follow them on Instagram at Good Fortune Printing. If you want to get in contact with them, please email them contact@goodfortuneprinting.com. You can thank me later. Before we get into today's guest, I'm back from Korea. I miss it ever so much. I went to Japan. I saw Statement of Pride. Shout out to my friends in Pensacola. Shout out to my friends in Osaka. It was truly a bucket list thing. Like, I've always wanted to go to Japan since I was in high school, right? I was obsessed with Japanese culture. I was taking the Japanese language as my elective. I studied it in college. And, you know, life happens and I just hadn't been able to make it out to Japan. And I remember landing in Osaka and I was feeling a little underwhelmed. And I was, telling myself like, do not let your bias for Korea ruin your time in Japan. Just enjoy it. And I was just a little down all day. And it wasn't until like 1 a.m. on the first night, Matt and I went to Taito Station. And I'm like, we're on like the 4th floor. I'm playing DDR. I'm dancing to Breakdown. And then it hit me. I'm like, you know what? Younger Jamie, high school Jamie, would be just over the moon getting to play one of his favorite games in the country that it was made. So it took pretty much the whole day till it hit me like, we're fucking here. This is insane. But yeah, we're back from vacation. That's why there was a little bit of an absence, right? The podcast, last episode, shout out to all the homies from San Diego. Love the support. Thank you everybody for still rocking with the podcast in the time that I was on vacation. But we're back. We got some cool episodes. Just like today's, I'm pretty excited for the episode that you're about to listen to because this is something that I've been trying to do for a while. So I'm happy that we're able to lock it down. But I just encourage you, if you're at all curious about what Korea was like the second go around, go follow my YouTube page. We're dropping the Korea vlogs. I think episode 12 just came out. I already have 13, 14, and 15 edited. So those are going to drop in the coming weeks. It was a good time. I am happy that I went, but I also hate that I went because I miss it like 100 times more than I did the first time. So dying to get back. We will go back. It's already in the books. More on that later. But on today's episode, we had to track down our good friend, Taylor, sings for a band called Wrath of Gods. And Taylor and I have been orbiting each other throughout like my entire Orange County career, because I remember seeing him in like some of the weirdest times of my life in Orange County, hanging out getting tattooed at this tattoo shop off of Harbor in the 22. I drive by it every now and then, and the shop is still like there, but it's obviously a whole new shop. Name's different. I'm sure ownership's different, but for him to be able to, for us to be like together at that moment is just so strange, because there's so many people that I don't even talk to from back then, because this was like 2015 to like 2017 ish era. It's just like probably not my favorite moments of living out here, but whatever. He was there, and I've always been curious about him because, like I said, I've seen him around all the time, and we have so many mutual friends. So we've been talking about doing this for a while, and I'm very happy that we were able to do it. Like I said, this is a conversation that I really enjoyed, and I'm really happy to share it with all of you. So if you're not familiar with Wrath of Gods, they just put out their third EP, Killing Rhythms. It's on streaming now. So please, if you're not tapped in, hit pause, go boot up your Spotify, your Tidal, your Apple Music, Bandcamp, whatever, and go stream Killing Rhythms, and then come back here and listen to Taylor and I talk about his life, our times in Orange County. It was awesome. So please strap in, enjoy this conversation. Without further ado, welcome Taylor Stevens to the show. 1, 2, 3. All right. And we're recording. Welcome to the podcast. Taylor, how's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How are you, man?
I'm doing awesome. If I'm being honest, I'm happy that we're finally doing this, because we've talked about doing this for so long. So I'm happy that you're finally here.
Yes. Yes. Very stoked about that, to be real. So it's where we're at here, Sorry, I'm in my car. Moving's been a little, like, just getting a lot of chore moving stuff done on between my crazy work schedule right now. So I was like, let's just do it in my car.
Okay. And it was not too personal. Are you still like in Orange County, or did you leave Orange County?
Still currently in Orange County. End of the month, I'm going to be moving to Long Beach for a while. So, and then probably back in Orange County, hopefully by November, worst case scenario, March. I'm back in Orange County because I'm splitting the difference with my girlfriend and myself, because I work in San Diego for a union and she works in LA for a union. So
holy crap. I had no idea you worked in San Diego. That's wild.
Yeah. The money's good, so I'll take that. That's a win,
Okay.
Yeah. I was more like, I want to get like my skill set and my profession up, and San Diego seemed a union in San Diego seemed available in like late 21, so that's where I got in with it.
Okay.
Stoked about that.
100%. My earliest memories of you, and I didn't even really know you back then, but we used to go to this tattoo shop in Garden Grove. Because my old roommate, he used to work there. It was like pretty random, because for the longest time he'd always like work out of like the house that we would like live in, and then like just random stints he like ended up there. And I would remember I'd always like see you like there like pretty regularly, and I was just like, because people told me that like you were into harder, but like I just never really talked to you because I'm like kind of antisocial. But those are like my earliest memories of you, is that like at this tattoo shop in Garden Grove.
Oh, yeah. I think it was Golden State, yeah?
Yeah.
Who was your roommate, by the way?
Chaz.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Dirtbag Chaz. I miss that guy. I think he's in Tennessee now, so.
Yeah.
Crazy small world. But yeah, I remember those days pretty well. It was crazy.
Yeah. What band were you in back then?
I was in a band called Burn Infinite. That was like the first one I was like singing and actually like recording with. So, no, I mean, I'd done bands prior to that, but
Mm-hmm.
that was like the one that was like, okay, people know me from that, or like I did more than just like, 2-3 years of a band, kind of doing a couple demos here and there, but actually like, putting together runs, doing like little mini tours, doing things like that with that band. So, that was the one that like lasted more than, just a couple years. So, yeah, that was a 8-year affair, if I will. Long time for that band, to be real with you. Little too long, but I met a lot of awesome people because of that band. So, grateful for it now. But yeah.
100%. And were you like born and raised here in Orange County, or did you just end up here at some point in your life?
My mom and my dad lived in Sacramento. I was born in Sacramento. My mom and my dad separated when I was right before I was about to turn like 2. So my mom moved my brother and myself down to Orange County right before I turned 3 years old. So I pretty much grew up and was raised in like South OC area. So like from like San Clemente to like Irvine, then to like Rancho Santa Margarita. So I went from like one sterile like kind of spot to another even more sterile kind of spot. Like it was kind of a bummer, but met a lot of cool people through South OC, met a lot of not so cool people through South OC, but I grew up here and then kind of lived about, at one point I lived with my dad in Sacramento when I was like 21, 20 years old. Lived in like Costa Mesa more so, and then lived in like, South OC here and there. So it was like doing the thing you do when you're like 20 and you're like kind of jumping around place to place, like being a moving target, if you will. And then pretty much been living since 2016. I want to say I've lived in South OC area consistently for like the last 8 years, but the last 6 years I've been living in like, I'm not even afraid to say it, San Juan Capistrano. So that's where I've been staying for like the last 6 years. So yeah, things are interesting in that sense.
Yeah, I always trip out because like I'm like a transplant, right? So I moved to Orange County from like the Palm Springs area back in 2010, and
that's crazy.
Yeah, and I've always lived in like the northern part of Orange County, so like always lived in like Anaheim, Orange, Garden Grove, like those types of areas. So whenever I go to like anywhere like South County, I'm like, damn, this is like so far, but it's like it feels so different.
Yeah, like South County is the weirdest place, especially for a guy like me. And I'm not even gonna flub it up, but a guy like me of my size, tattoos, and color, like I don't fit in here. You know what I mean? This is like yuppie. Everybody listens to like either if you're a young person, you're probably into like EDM music, or you're basically into like faux cowboy bullshit. You know what I mean? Dance hall country, like. Nobody like actually listens to cool country, but around here, like it's just probably Jason Aldean love, and that's about it. I don't really have there's pockets of people. I mean, the hardcore scene in South OC was kind of, I want to say, fluctuating from like when I was young, from like 2002 to I want to say around like 2006. Had a resurgence for a second in like 2011 to like 2015. And it was kind of, it's weird because kids gatekeep themselves to death down here. But, I went to like some backyard show, like I want to say like 6 months ago. That was actually kind of cool. I was like, what? They got Marrow playing at a backyard show in Lake Forest. Let's fucking go. I'm with it. You know what I mean? So there's pockets of hardcore. It's just, if you see a kid wearing a hardcore t-shirt, you almost be like, hey, you're awesome. You are the future. Keep it going. Please don't get just into like whatever shitty fucking EDM shit there is. I mean, no disrespect to EDM, but it's not my bag, to say the least. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought things were going to be popping off more because not that long ago there was that big ass truck show at some pizza spot.
Oh, yeah. One of my buddies put that together. I guess the pizza spot got a little greedy with booking, and like they didn't really necessarily like they wanted to renegotiate that night on how booking went with the dude, and they kind of like just kind of like acted really douchey about it. Like, whoa, you know, we need more money. Like, you guys got really greedy. You guys could have had some. It sucks because, you know, some small business owner fucked it up for himself in that sense, especially with that dude who's booking really well. But I've heard like another couple of kids started booking there, and it's been going cool. It just, from what I heard, the guy was just kind of dumb about it, in my opinion. Especially when big ass truck plays in like San Clemente there. You could have had something beautiful popping off, but some people just dollar signs without foresight. And the dude that booked it, that's my guy. So, you know, when he told me, I'm like, dude, fuck that place. But, you know, I'm actually trying to get something going, with Wrath and a couple other bands down in South OC somewhere. It's just hard to find logistics of people who want hardcore in South Orange County. Most of these people are like boomers who are like into yacht rock. So it might not be popular down here, but there was a couple cool spots that did do cool shows back in the day that weren't like, bonehead adjacent, to say the least. A couple cool bars at one point would do 18 and over and do like hardcore shows. So, that's been long since dead, unfortunately. But yeah. I want to do something down here, but time will tell, you know. Hopefully I make it happen, or hopefully we make it happen, you know.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome because like I said, I moved here in 2010 and I've never been to a show in South Orange County. It's all just been up here. You know, I live fairly close to Chain and a lot of the venues out here. And I've never had the opportunity to, you know, go that far down south in Orange County for a show.
Yeah. I booked a couple cool shows in South County back in the day with when I was doing Burn Infinite. I did a couple cool shows with Hammer Fist down there, and like Life or Death actually, and like even in Seizures. And then there was even a couple cool shows with freaking Hammer Fist and World of Pain, which was cool. So a couple really cool shows happened down in South County back in the day, over in like Dana Point of all places. So at this place that RIP was called Coconuts, but that's been long since dead situation. But that place would have cool punk shows there all the time back in the day. Yeah, to say the least.
Hammer Fist, what a cool band.
Oh yeah, I filled in for those guys back in the day for like guitar and vocals on a couple of different tours. Always had a good time. Shout out Swayo, you know.
Yeah, is he still drumming for LT9?
No. I heard he's moving to like Texas, you know, just doing adult stuff. You know, I love that guy. Support him. Plus, he's put in so much time in so many cool hardcore bands, from like Hammer Fist to Frostbite to Load the Nine to like World of Pain. Dude's done so many cool things.
Yeah, I remember him filling in for Donnybrook.
Oh yeah, he was drumming for Donnybrook. He told me one tour, like he did everything but vocals on different tours. Like he'd play guitar on one tour, he'd do bass on one tour, he'd do drums on another tour. So that dude is like legitimately a musical virtuoso, and it's insane to see, you know. Multi instrumental dude, to say the least. Like you could put him in one band on bass, drums, or guitar, he will kill it anyway. Like I did one tour where I played guitar, and there was also one tour where Swayo, when I filled in on guitar for a tour, and there was one tour where it was like us as a 4-piece, and Tom, the bass player of Hammer Fist, was the only member in his position. Swayo was playing guitar on that tour, so that was crazy, and he nailed every night. Like he killed every night when he played. So it was fucking awesome to watch, to say the least.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I had no idea he was moving. Well, you know, best wishes to him. But yeah, like just because maybe I'm older than him, or maybe we're the same age, but yeah, as long as I've been coming around, he's always been doing cool shit. So
yeah, I think he's 37 or 38 now, I want to say. So he's he's like 4 years younger than me. So guys,
if that's the case, then him and I are the same age.
Yeah, I believe so. He's been doing the deal since he was like a young kid. So, yeah, like that band, straight up one of the greatest Orange County hardcore bands ever.
I had this vivid memory of seeing it was Hammerfist in Folsom in Yuma, Arizona. And I remember I was just like outside, and it was the singer of Hammerfist. What was his name? Jake? Not Jake. Was it Jake?
Yeah, okay. Jake Fist. Yeah.
I remember he like walked up to me. He's just like, "Yo, like where are you from?" And I was like, I live in California. Why? He's like, dude. He's like, I always see you like at all of our shows, and I'm just trying to figure out where you're from. And I was like, yeah, no, dude, I'm from California. I live out in the Palm Springs area, but I just don't, because I was like way younger back then, so it was just a random memory that stuck out to me about Hammerfist.
Jake's a maniac, good dude though, solid guy.
Yeah, and I'm also really happy that you mentioned Life or Death, because that's a band, like, because obviously you're a little bit older than me, but to have been around to experience that band when they were active, it's crazy.
Yeah, Life or Death was wild, like heavy as hell. Watching them play their last show in 2011 is still kind of crazy to say. And their singer was still killing it. Like, one of the craziest shows I've ever seen. Still to this day, like, fucking beyond talented band. They ever come back, I'd be stoked. Yeah, say that. I'd go see them.
100%. World of Pain's doing some shows. So I was like, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's crazy too. Yeah, like World of Pain is doing like For the Children this year, so that's cool. I'm a big World of Pain fan as well. Mongrel as well. Like, those guys, that band is beyond the pale. Like, both those bands are beyond the pale talented, especially the San Diego bands. Yeah,
been doing it for a long time, been putting in a lot of work.
Oh yeah, like world tours, shit like that. Like, very cool to watch that band do some of the coolest stuff and put out some really good music. So,
okay,
yeah.
The main reason why I wanted to have you on today is because you obviously play in a couple of bands, but you just put out some new music with Wrath of God.
Yeah, Wrath of Gods.
But I'm just curious about the origin of that band, because you guys started like early 2020s, but I'm just curious about how this all came together.
Okay, so Burning Foot was, we all kind of, I got a text from the bass player at the time saying, "Hey, yo, I quit." And then the drummer hit me up, "Yo, I quit." And me, the drummer, and one of the previous guitarists started like somewhat doing some writing. I had some songs that I was thinking out, and we started working it out as a band. Once the band died, I was like, I guess these songs are going to die. And I hit up Will, our drummer at the time, who's also still the drummer of Wrath of Gods now. And I was like, yo, I know that we're probably calling it a day with this band, but I still want to record the demo. Are you down? And I was initially going to go with a different name for Wrath of Gods. I was like, Taste My Sin, a song from Integrity. But at the same time, there was just some weird vibes. And, I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to put like some type of like a like worship band, or have people think we're like, we love it. Like, you know what I mean? I wanted it to have its own legs. And I thought of, there was a song from Burn Infinite called Wrath of Gods that we put out on the full length. And I was like, why don't we just use that name? That just sounds hard. That sounds like a crazy name. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to name it Wrath of Gods. And so we went to Raleigh, Errol Ulig, and recorded with him. and I, started getting the mixes back and stuff like that. But I was sending Will it. Will and the initial band members that I had in mind was like going to be Chaz. We are going to figure out a bass player. Chaz was the other guitarist of Pull Your Card. And at the end of Burn Infinite, he was playing guitar for the last 3 shows. So, we're like, okay, let's do that. So me and him went in the studio. We recorded everything with Will. And I sent it back to Will. Will's all, hey, who's going to be drumming for this new thing? I was thinking maybe Clemente from Pull Your Card. And he's all, actually, fuck that. I'm drumming. I'm like, cool, And then Parker, the ex-bass player of Burn Infinite, is all, hey, I want to play bass in this. I'm like, so we're basically Burn Infinite, but with a new name. He's like, well, the old songs or whatever. I like these. These should have like its own thing. And I'm like, you guys are right. Let's do it. So we went under a new name. We went under Making Our Own Way. We didn't really want to have like the stigma of Burn Infinite. It's not like we had anything too negative, but it was just, it felt like that band had its own weight to it, and we wanted to do a new thing. So we went with Wrath of Gods. So that was kind of our own kind of thing at that time. So unfortunately, right before we were going to put it out, and right as we were mastering it, pandemic happened. So no shows for a couple of years. So, we just put it out during like the middle of like June. A lot of things were happening in June of 2020, if you remember. I don't know if you remember. But it just was, okay, we put this out and just kind of coasted for a year. Just we're like, all right, we'll figure it out when we can. End of 21, we played a couple shows. Not a lot of people showed up, like no one. And I was like, damn. But we just kept playing. We just kept going, okay, we still want to do this. Let's do some shows. Let's see what we can do. Let's do a run. Let's do this. And, I think in between the point of 21, 2020, Parker, we realized he had like adult stuff to do. Like he had like a really good job. He had like kind of a good position in the company that he was working for. So we found a new bass player named Taylor also. He was in this band called Pissed Regardless. And they weren't doing too much, but I talked to Taylor and I'm like, hey, yo, weird thing. Would you want to play bass for this band I'm doing? Here's the demo. And he said, yeah. So we were off and running right when we got Taylor. So we went to playing shows and doing a lot of cool stuff. And here we are now. 3 releases later, I'm going to say, So, yeah. That is how Wrath of God started. It was basically a demo or like a 5-song thing that we're going to do for Burn Infinite. I just still wanted to put the songs out because I liked them a lot. And I was like, I'll just put this out. And I was thinking to myself, like, hey, if nobody listens to this, cool. At least I got this out. It was like those 5 songs I felt like were like, dude, these are like the best songs I've written as like a writer or as a musician in a long time. I don't even care if they don't get listened to, but lo and behold, people started to listen to it. Like Andreas from like 5-7 booking from Abominate, Big Ass Truck, when he was doing a lot more booking, hit me up out of the random. He's like, hey, your band's dope. I found you guys on Spotify. Do you guys want to play the show? And we're like, yes, let's do that. And that kid has done a lot of cool stuff for this band. So shout out Andreas from Big Ass Truck as well. Love that kid. Good dude. Great dude, actually.
100%. So, yeah. Every interaction I've ever had with him, he's been chill.
One of the best guys. Fucking hilarious as well. Good kid. Can't say I could go on for how much I love that guy as just a person in general. Good dude in general.
Were you always set on wanting to just kind of hang it up after the demo? Because it's kind of funny how it kind of worked out that everybody was like, no, like let's just keep this going.
Yeah, it was. I was like, I don't know if I wanted to hang it up after the demo, but I was like in a weird spot where I was like, if it doesn't work, I'm not. And at the time, I was doing like Pull Your Card more in like 2019 anyway. So I was like, shit falls out, it falls out. It is what it is. But you know, I guess there was kind of a thing where we all had a like, where collectively we all said, hey, let's keep it going. Let's actually do some cool stuff with this, you know? And, you know, we kind of settled on like, if like me or Will or Chaz kind of fall out, we're just done with the band. And then there was a weird thing where Chaz moved to like Texas. And 1 second, I'm getting a phone call. I'm just gonna deny that. All right, cool.
Oh, we lost Taylor. He should be back soon. Technical difficulties. Oh, he's back. Yo.
Sorry about that.
It's all good.
And we're back. Let me just do one thing. Dude, this thing. Yeah, that guy's phone call fucked me up.
It's all good.
God damn it, friends that are calling me. So, you know, we kind of came to a point where Chaz moved to Texas, and we were kind of like, well, we kind of want to do some shows. And then I hit up DJ from, he was in Broken Mouth. He's in Darson now. He's our guitarist currently. And I was like, hey, yo, what do you think about joining Wrath of Gods? He's like, down. And we kept it going with him. And still, you know, Chaz, even when he was living in Texas, was still collaborating. Like, he wrote, like, that guy was a genius who would write demos. Like, there's like songs that we have, like, we were like, maybe we'll do this. Maybe we'll do this. We like picked and choose. I wrote a couple songs on guitar. He wrote a couple songs on guitar. That was freaking the last EP prior. And then the last thing we did, we actually like wrote, like, we still have a couple songs that we're going to release. We're trying to figure out. We were going to put out, we actually have some couple cool songs right now that we got. One with a guest from Brisk, our boy BG actually has a guest part on one of the new songs that we're putting out.
Okay.
And basically we wrote like 7 songs, and we just recorded all of them with Brad over at Local Man Recording out in Hesperia. And yeah, we put out the single, which is Invictus, and then we put out the EP right after. So all the new stuff is like, it's kind of satisfying because it feels like the end of a trilogy in Wrath of Gods. It was kind of like where, if you notice, the first thing we did, and I sorry to punish you, I don't want to talk too much, I guess.
No. This is awesome. This is what the people want to hear. So you going on, this is awesome.
Okay, cool.
Wait, but can you hold on for 1 second? Sorry.
Oh, yeah. We got Jamie After Dark on this podcast.
Yeah.
So to say the least, yeah. So this last one was like all mostly DJ writing. I think I like wrote 1 song on guitar, and like most of it was all coming from DJ's brain, which was awesome because that dude figured out all the likes and dislikes I have for recording without me having to say anything. He just wrote stuff and was like, what do you think about this? I'm like, yes. What do you think about this? Yes. And then Forge was like all him and like Will, like just writing it out. You know what I mean? So it was like a lot of cool things that were like, yeah. You know, and I'd bring up bands where I'm like, I'm kind of feeling like this for like the next song. And then DJ would write something that would sound like that. And I'm like, yes. So yeah, this is also really enough when we were getting mixing done and kind of like redoing a couple of different things with Andrew over at Dead Stare Audio. He's like, this is probably like your most fun sounding Wrath to God stuff. Like, I like the other stuff, but this is a lot more cool. I'm like, thank you. You know, like, plus it felt a lot more like progressed, but also at the same time, like a lot more the same of us. You know what I mean? It felt like a natural evolution of the band of this last EP. So, but it also, I was going to say, Yeah, it's kind of a trilogy because the first thing, the demo or the first EP was white with a skull. The second EP was blue with a skull. The third EP was red with a skull. All have some weird thoughts on like America in general in the weirdest way, from like Pinnacle to Disdain to Demon's Prayer to Animus to Chains to Serpent to freaking, you know, what's another? Yeah, like it was just kind of a trilogy of different songs that had like maybe some political and just some like view on where I'm at. Where, you know, Disdain is just kind of like, best way to say this. My overall ire for like the typical yuppie bourgeois Orange County type that I don't fuck with, really. Like they don't, it's not that they don't come from my world, but they just are like completely like in their own bubble. They probably look at somebody working like, you know, a job with their hands as a poor, you know, and I'm not that type of person, you know, just the type of people that, but they'll also go frequently to church and say they're godly people, where you're just like, you fucking would spit on a homeless person. Like, go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it just, no, like that type of person I just don't fuck with. There's no, like, to dehumanize other people just because of like their financial status is fucking lame. Obviously people have a, you know, people have their own, how do I say this? Have their own part to play in their life, but I'm also not a person that's like, you make less than this, I can't fucking talk to you. You know, that and like being materialistic is your life. I'm not necessarily like, you're not on my wavelength. I don't really look at that and be like, that guy's cool. You know, be successful, of course, but don't be a douche about it. Don't make that your entire personality. If I may say so, but I'm also not trying to hang out with like a whole bunch of fent heads. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to go, yeah, I want to hang out with a whole bunch of, you know, crackheads. It's gonna work out well for me. Yes, you know, but I also try to at least be like, people are people. You know, people are human beings, regardless of where they're at as humans. With very few exceptions for you're a complete piece of shit. You know, so
yeah,
I definitely find that. But then Pinnacle was like about like how Facebook, how social media kind of made us more apart as human beings in a weird way, where it's like, we're at like right now in this world, we're at the brink of fucking near civil war. And then, you know, you get your boomer dad who's fucking glued to like fucking Fox News or whatever, and like saying crazy shit. And you're just like, what the fuck is happening? Where you have another person that's like, we need to do this. Like, what the fuck? People are like, you know, going from like Stalin is my homeboy to like, we're not exactly Nazis. And then you see like white pride in their bio. You're like, no, you pretty much are. You hit it. Great. Good for you. Fuck. Yeah. So that is my overall thoughts in regards to that type of, you know, how do I say this? That was kind of my thoughts on a lot of that shit, you know, a lot of that trilogy, if you will, for the Skulls. So Dead America, if you will. But
yeah, well, I think it's brilliant. I didn't even put that together until you're breaking it down. Like, wow, they really did that.
Yeah. I feel accomplished. Like, if this band ended tomorrow, at least I'll have that, you know. There's more in the pipeline, but definitely, hopefully, the next release, whatever we do, won't have a skull on it. Just take a break from that for a minute.
Okay, you know? Just put it on the back burner.
Put it on the back burner. You know, I don't think we need skulls that much right now.
Maybe for the third trilogy, the skulls can come back.
Maybe. I don't know if we're gonna do a trilogy. I don't know where it goes from here, but you know, I feel like we still have some writing in us. I still feel like we have some more creation in us. Hopefully, as long as there's breath in my lungs, hopefully I keep going with some cool shit. So, but I'm very grateful to put out 3 different EPs that all kind of have the same vibe or a weird theme going through all of them in a weird way. So.
Okay. We kind of skipped ahead to the latest release, but I was just curious about the gap between Wrath of Gods, the first release, and the second release, Death Above, Chaos Around, Hell Inside, because there was like a 3-year gap. Obviously, COVID played a big role in that. But I'm just curious, like, growing as a band, right? Like, you guys put out the first record, not able to play shows, but then things started slowly to roll back. And I was just curious, what that gap was like, and how you guys grew as a band and got to the point of putting out the second release.
I love the fact that you asked this. So the gap was a little bit of some different things, because Will was in Leech Bath and he joined God Collider as well. So he was in 2 bands at one point, or 3 bands at one point. I was in, at that time, 2 bands, Pull Your Card. So Pull Your Card was getting a lot of cool shows, doing a lot of stuff. So my attention would go to that. And then by 22, me and Chaz were like, all right, let's do some Wrath of God stuff. And like, let's actually put some effort into it. I started slowly coming with some writings, and Chaz already had like 5 songs. So he just sent me an EP worth of stuff. And I was like, that song goes hard. That song goes hard. Can I write one? And can I write another one? Like, it was funny because when I wrote Animus, I was like, how would Chaz write a song? First, I acted like a crazy person, because Chaz is one of the most brilliant guys, but also one of the most wild guys. Like, having a conversation with him goes places. So I wrote this song. I was like, what do you think? He got a toothpick in his hand, or in his mouth, and he's all, oh, it's pretty Chazzy there, bud. Yeah, I like it, And I think the funniest thing about Chaz, and this is probably one of the funniest gags, because Chaz is one of those guys that will keep a bit going to the point where it's like nauseatingly funny, like your cheeks hurt. So he sent me like demos, right? Like 5 demos. And he just wrote Cock of Gods. And he had Cock 1, Cock 2, Cock 3, Cock 4, Cock 5, right? So at one point, we started writing the second EP. I'm like, hey, let's use Cock 5 and let's use Cock 2. He's all, Cock 2 and Cock 5? Yes, Cock 2 and Cock 5. So finally, when we went to like finally naming the name, I like was mad. I was like, dude, I don't want to change the name. Like, I want to keep it Cock, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was even funnier because at one point, I was doing this thing where I was like getting frustrated when I was recording like the demo for Chains, and Chaz, as funny as a human being is, I guess I was like making sounds like I was just doing that. I couldn't hear myself because I had headphones on,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like recording, and he just called it Moan. I was like, God damn it, got me good. So he just named Chains Moan. So immediately that was the first one, because I was like, I'm getting made fun of for this one. And then the last one was for Animus. He's all, because he's like, dude, I'm sorry, I was lagging. I was going to rewrite the demo that you showed me. So here it is. And just wrote World of Cockcraft, because he was like, I was playing a lot of Warcraft, but kept writing cock
Mm-hmm.
for everything in regards to like Wrath of Gods. And then we went into the studio with Andrew. We finally set up some time. And also Chaz was kind of, because DJ was in the band at that time, and we were basically a 5-piece, but like Chaz was living in Texas, but we had a couple songs that he did. I wrote a couple songs. We were all kind of just working shit out. And finally went to Andrew. DJ did his parts. Taylor did his parts. And Chaz like fucking basically had DI sent for his parts. And then we finally got that done end of 22 when we recorded. And then a couple months later, we put it out beginning of the year, because we're like, nobody really, it's not like we like do records, but we're like, nobody's really going to fuck with this like end of the year. So let's just put it out beginning of like 23. We did that. And actually booked a pretty cool tour right before that with Torn in Half from Boston, and did a 5-day run with those guys, and those shows popped. Like, I was impressed at how much people loved all the new Wrath of God stuff at that time. So it's been rolling ever since for the most part. So I'm happy with all of our current stuff we're putting out. But yeah, those the jump from the first thing to the second thing, it felt like we were actually a more gel band. It wasn't just stuff inside my head that I was like trying to teach a band, but it was more like, all right, this is how we should play this, or this is what we're writing now, you know? So it's cool. It's definitely cool to, you know, keep recording with a band and keep gelling and keep creating and like get to that point, you know? I just don't want to ever feel like we're not challenged as a band also. So
100%.
I don't want to sound pretentious. Like, I don't feel challenged. Like, I'm in a hardcore band. So obviously there are some things where I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to necessarily go like shoegaze, but I am going to, you know, have experiments, but keep it heavy, keep it hard, you know, keep it cool, or keep it what we would want to be doing still, you know.
100%. And that tour that you mentioned, that was a West Coast tour with the band from Boston.
Yeah. They came out. We did like 5 dates, one in Riverside, one in NorCal, one in Reno, one in Vegas, and then one at Midnight Hour. That was a fun little run too. The only thing that sucks is when we played Midnight Hour, it was like Super Bowl Sunday, so it was like maybe 20 or 30 people there. Mm-hmm. But like the night before in like Vegas on a Saturday was like 200 kids there. And like what was weird was like Nova Square was like the headliner, so it was like definitely one of the weirdest shows ever. Like Nova Square, Skin Ticket, us, Torn in Half, and I forget the first band, but like they were really nice. They were like a post-hardcore band with violins. Like I was like, is this Murder by Death? What the fuck are we playing right now? Mm-hmm. And then, you know, I like walked outside, heard them for a song, walked outside, smoked a cigarette, talked to Josh from Skin Ticket for a second, walked back in, and like Torn in Half is playing. Kids are murdering themselves. Like it was one of the most like, oh, this is insane right now, you know? And then Nova Square plays. They were pretty cool. It was definitely like a band that sounded like Seisha or like old school emo screamo shit. Mm-hmm. From that to like, it was like a variety of bands. It was a cool show to play, to be honest with you. And shout out Vegas Hardcore for that show. That was one of the coolest ones I played in a long time.
That's awesome. I really like that name, Torn in Half. I'm not familiar with that band.
Death metal, like straight up like Boston death metal, to say the least. I know they've like went through some lineup changes. Nick from Search Warrant and me became friends because of that, from like the East Coast. He plays in a couple other bands, but dude, basically me and him made a friendship over his old band Ritual Blade. Okay. And I just remember like following and then DMing them like, yo, I fuck with Ritual Blade a lot. You guys are awesome, blah, blah, blah. If like I ever can do anything with like Wrath of Gods or any of the other bands, let me know. And like, it was funny because like, if you ever talk to dudes from Boston, there's like a very crazy bluntness to them as human beings where you're like he's all, yo, what's another band you're in? Like we were just kind of got to talking because I fucked with Ritual Blade heavy. I like the vibes. It was like one of those cool bands that I liked. And he's all, yo, I'm all, what's up? He's all, I like Wrath of Gods. I'm all, thank you, man. Your other band, Pull Your Card, they're cool, but it's a little meatball for me personally. I'm like, okay, you know. He's like, that's heavy, but not my style. Anyway, I like Wrath of Gods. It's more my style. I'm like, thank you. Crazy, but thank you. You know what I mean? And we're talking, and he's all, also, I don't like the logo for Wrath of Gods. I made a new one for you. I'm like, thank you as well. Like the one that had like that like Young and in the Way kind of fucking vibe to it was fucking my favorite personal, like our logos. But he just made it for me and said, here you go. And I was like, thank you, bro. You know, it was very cool. So Nick from Search Warrant, Isolated Incidents, like just basically gave us a new logo. And I was like, yeah, let's run with that. So that's why those Wrath of God shirts with that like weird font were like that, because of that dude. So very thankful for that guy as a person too.
Oh yeah, that's cool
Yeah.
lore.
Yeah, it was very funny. Very like Boston people, like very blunt. Like, okay, all right, I wouldn't go that way, but sure, But that's the type of guy that you make a good friend with, because he's very honest. So you're not like getting cool guyed or getting like bullshitted. So very no bullshit people. And as well as BG from fucking Risk. That guy, I love him. Maniac of a human being.
Yeah, he's a good friend. I love talking to him. He like will like reach out at like the most random times. But whenever he reaches out, I'm like, all right, like he's reaching out for a reason. So I always love to, give him my time, and it's always fun talking to him.
One of the most fun human beings to tour with, and one of the most fucking hilarious human beings ever. Like, dude, I enjoy being on the road with that guy. Never a bad time. Never a bad time with that dude. Definitely interesting human being, to say the least.
Okay, we'll get to that. But I am curious about the the latest release for Wrath of Gods. Just a couple things. What's up with the Spotify? It's like it's under like 2 different Wrath of Gods, and I'm like,
God, oh boy, yeah. So, that's DJ. I gave the thing to, because I was like, I think working. So I was like, yo, here's the masters. This is the stuff for DistroKid. Get this done. Blah blah blah. And then I guess Spotify worked. The Spotify was fucked up, but the Apple Music was great. Okay. I'm like, okay. And I don't know. And then I was like, DJ, get that handled. And he's all, yeah, I sent a request. Well, okay. And it's still like that. So I'm just like, shout out Spotify. If you hear this, fucking fix it. Put it under the official Wrath of Gods. But yeah, fucking Spotify is the worst in customer service in regards to that. But, Spotify is a better situation. I mean, back in the day, there was Bandcamp. If you remember that, which was the easiest way to put out a demo. And then DistroKid apparently is great too, but I don't know what the fuck happened with that. That's a whole mystery on fucking DJ's part, but he told me, look, you got it looked at. So us as a band should have that. The Spotify can join sooner than later. I think they just are taking forever between DistroKid and Spotify. So we have tried to rectify that as we speak, but it's kind of funny because the official Wrath of Gods is like got not a lot of fucking views or followers, and then the new Wrath of Gods has more followers. I'm all sick, same band, but god damn it, just can join them,
Yeah.
So that is that became the bane of my existence. I was like legitimately like screaming at my steering wheel when that happened. I was like, motherfucker, what the fuck? Like, I was mad. No way to say it. I was just not stoked about it. But I also know that apparently it's like a spelling error, because
I was trying to figure out what could have caused that, and like the only difference that you see is like the capitalization, right? Like there's just it's the only difference.
Yeah, that's the only fucking difference. When Apple, of course, is like not really Apple somehow hasn't taken care of, but Spotify apparently fucked up. I'm like, how is that a thing when Spotify is like the top dog right now? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I remember I was like kind of confused because like I'd listened to the new music for so long because you'd sent it to me early, right? So I was just listening to like, from those files. Yeah. And then when I went to go look it up on Spotify, I was like, is it not here? So then I had to go find a link for it to actually find it. And then I was like, all right, cool, let me add this to my library. So when I search it up, it'll actually pop up and I won't have to, freak out.
Yeah, that is the retardedness that is Spotify currently with us. We are not beefing with Spotify, but we're not happy with them, Get it fixed. Fucking Spotify. Fucking Swedish people, bro.
Hopefully soon. And leading up to the record, you put out the single Invictus, and when the record came out, the song wasn't on the record, so I was like, oh, like, is it just like it's like standalone thing?
Yeah. So we, like, as a collective, I was like, let's just put out a 5-song EP, and then like DJ's all, no, we're gonna put it out as a single. I'm like, why? And he's like, well, we can just do that on the tape. I'm like, let's just do this on the fucking EP as well. Well, no, let's just do it as a single. So it was a back and forth, and I just kind of like DJ. I love to death, but I was like, you know what, DJ, you do it. I'm not gonna fucking cry over this one. I would like to have it on the EP, my official statement, but as a standalone song, we put it out as a standalone. But I guess that was more of like one of those ones where I'm like, okay, if you guys want to do it like that, I'm not gonna fight you on it. You know, it was like kind of one of those. I guess let's just do it that way. You know, it just was one of those like, do you really want to like fight with your collaborators over their artistic choices? So I'm happy it didn't fail because people are listening to it, people are fucking with it, but I'm also wishing it would be in the same catalog as the EP, to say the least.
Yeah, because you remember I had reached out to you and told you, I'm like, yo, this is like, out of like all the new songs that you'd send me, like, this is like my jam.
Thank you, man. I fucking love that song. It is probably one of my favorite songs because it's like, like the most positive Wrath of God song, to say a weird way, where it's like, all right, there's something good about it. You know what I mean? There's some good motivational shit in it. And it's just, the vibe is just, it's like, you know, straight up like the song that you play while you're fucking hitting a deadlift or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's a song that you hit when you're like hitting a squat rack or like hitting the bench. Like, keep it going, you know? So it's not like we try to write something for the gym, but we definitely wrote a song that was like, all right, this is what you should be doing, I guess, to push or to do. If you're going to do something, do it all the way, you know, and do it for the right reasons, or find the right reason to do it. Not you want to get cool about it. You know, it's a little meta, I guess, in the way I wrote it, but also at the same time, it says some cool things about it, you know, but I definitely like that song a lot. Playing it live is fucking fun, you know, like the reactions have been cool. So I'm a big fan of Invictus in general.
And you guys had your record release at the Haven, right? Was it the Haven in the small room?
Yes, we did. That was a cool show. Like, every band killed that night. That I was beyond stoked, you know. And like, we were the last band, and I'm like, usually, like, I hate being the last band. I'd rather be like in the middle, or I'd rather be like opening. I kind of go like, we're not like a huge band by any means. We're like a very working class, do it yourself. Like, we play small show type band, but we could play like a fest, or we'll play like this. Like, we just got done with Within These Walls pre-show, and that was fun as fuck too. But I was stoked to see people get the reactions they got off the Wrath of God show, you know, and especially the fact that, like, we were kind of, not like we were dead in the water, but we all, like, collectively agreed, like, all right, until this record is out, we're not playing shows. We're going to keep it quiet. We're just going to keep our heads down. We're going to work on it, and we're going to finish it. Once we get it out, then we'll have the ability to start playing shows again. Just because there was a gap, you know, a couple of years between, you know, the last EP to this EP. So we're like, all right, let's just put something out in, like, rapid succession, you know, like a 1-2, where it's like, we put out the single, which this is, I'll give DJ his flowers, and, you know, credits due where credits due. DJ's a very smart man. It's good to have somebody in the band that sees farther than you, or has a different vision, because we put that out, and I remember seeing the reactions of like a whole bunch of people on like Instagram were like reposting and like tagging us like, oh, new shit, oh shit, they finally dropped something, oh fuck, you know, like seeing a lot of that going on the internet. And then when we dropped the EP, people were like, oh fuck, they're not done. Like, yes, okay, that's what we wanted to do. So collectively it was kind of like a boom and then a bigger punch at the end. It was like a setup, you know, like a jab to cross kind of a situation. So, yeah, it was a smarter idea to do that, I think, in a sense. I mean, would I have still wanted it on the EP? Yes. But am I happy that we got the reactions we're getting from it? Also, yes. Both releases did what it needed to do, and I'm very happy about it.
You know, the first time that I saw you guys live was in San Bernardino, and the name of the venue escapes me. It was
the
one that
Void?
No, it's the one that Jeff's venue. The one.
Oh, Baseline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. I saw you guys at Baseline, and you guys sounded really good that night. And I kept wondering, I'm like, why don't they do more? And I'll never forget after you said, I walked up to DJ, and this is before, like, you know, we like ever like followed each other on social media or ever really talked. And I remember I walked up to him and I'm like, yo, like, great set. You guys sounded great tonight. And I'll never forget, he looked me in my eye and didn't say thank you. The thing that he said was, then why don't you book us? And and I was so surprised because at that time I was still booking shows, but I had no idea that he even knew who I was, because I just, like, you know, showed up and wanted to go to the show. I was there alone. And when he said that to me, I like, it caught me so off guard. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy. Like, I didn't even know this guy knew who I was, but I was like, I don't even remember what I responded with, but it just totally caught me off guard. But it was a funny moment. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, but I love DJ. He's a great guy.
Yeah, DJ's like one of those guys where he's like very silent about it, where he's like, then why don't we get booked? So, I mean, at that time we were like, why don't we do more? Because we did the tour, and then I kind of went back to doing some pull your card stuff, and I was also like balls deep in my career. I do a lot of like corporate event stuff and like a lot of stage setup. So, I'm like, you know, like usually like, you know, 10 days straight of work or like a week straight of work. Then I'm off and I got my kid, and it was kind of like, and then also, you know, jumbling, or because at that time, for the other bands I was doing, I would kind of like do a couple different things, or like one of us is like in multiple projects, you know, with like that with DJ and Ryan, they're doing Broken Mouth, and he also does Darsum. And then, you know, with me, at the time I was doing Pull Your Card, and, you know, another band called Doom Loop. Check that out. Really cool sludge metal band that I play guitar in. And it was also just like a lot of different things, you know. Summer season for me gets a little brutal work-wise. So we just put up some stuff. We kind of try to be like, I don't necessarily say we try to be selective, but also we kind of go, all right, we're down to be doing more if we get booked more, but also at the same time, we'll take, you know, a good show over like just get us on a show kind of thing, where it's like, you know, if cool stuff comes, we'll do it. If we can, we'll do it. You know, it's also, we're all old guys, you know what I mean? I don't think, like, I'm, you know, in my 40s, Ryan's in his 40s, you know, fucking DJ and Will are in their 30s. So we're all older cats. So it's like, kind of like, we're just happy to be playing at this point, you know. I'm not saying that hardcore is just a young man's game, but it does benefit when you're like in your 20s doing this, outside of like when you're in your 30s and 40s, like, oh, hey, hi, how's it going? You know, like, and that, like, you know, we're all kind of like dudes in relationships, or some of us have families, you know, so it's a lot of factors. But, you know, if we can get stuff planned or get stuff taken care of, yeah, we'll jump in, you know. I always try to jump on a cool show, or jump on a show in general, if we got the time, or we got the time to make it, you know. It's just trying to get schedules to coordinate, you know. And I mean, and I'll say this, like, I can own my mistakes now, but back in the day when I did like Burn Infinite, like, I'd be like the most bullheaded band member ever, where I'm like, what I say is law, we do what I say. And then like people would clash, members would be quitting, we get a fill in like last minute, we'd have like all this other shit going on, or we'd have like a couple members that just weren't really into it, or were just doing us a favor. And then, we drop shows, and then people would be like, "Oh, that band always drops. Like, are they going to play actually?" And then when we finally solidified the lineup with like Will and DJ back in the day, in like 2018, that's when we actually started playing a lot more shows and getting a lot more cool stuff happening for Burn Infinite at that time. And, you know, by the end of that, we were like, time to end, you know? So I'm happy that Wrath of Gods is a way more healthier band that people try to communicate, and, you know, at least we all think about each other in this band, and we all try to make sure that, like, regardless of what happens, we want to make sure even outside of like the stage, we're all doing okay. You know, it's not good to like really run yourself to the ground and be like, well, we got a show in, but you know, my life's falling apart. Like that doesn't work for anybody. You know, it doesn't make anyone happy, and you're not really stoked to be playing at that point. So, yeah, that's the best way to explain that. But that's crazy, teacher. Why don't you book us then? You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I was like, I was slightly like offended, but also flattered, because I was like, oh, people know that I book shows. That's cool. But I'm trying to like get rid of that. Like, yeah, I don't do that anymore.
Either way, I'm just happy to, you know, talk about hardcore. You know, it's kind of like a win in general.
100%.
Yeah, like just talking about just vibing via Zoom is cool. So I enjoy it. Yeah.
You briefly mentioned the Within These Walls pre-show. I think it's really cool that you know, that they had Wrath of Gods on, because you know, like you know, for them to reach out, and obviously, you know, like Lie from Texas, pretty big band.
Yes,
you know, and also some other awesome bands on the bill as well. But I was just curious, you know, what that experience was like, you know, for you to be able to go down there and, you know, kind of like kick off the weekend for a pretty cool fest.
It was cool because Within These Walls, I knew Martine from Point Break. Jesus Christ, sorry about that. So I knew Martine from Point Break. No time. He helped book Within These Walls, and I'm like trying to remember if he reached out to me or if I reached out to him. I think I reached out to him. I'm like, yo, if Wrath could ever jump on Within These Walls, let me know. And he just hit me back like, yeah, sure. You want to do it this year? Actually, let me get back to my guys. Y'all want to do it Within These Walls? They're like, yeah, down. So that's how that came about, you know. And I think we're gonna try to be on the main fest next year. So, you know, we're trying to book for next year as well. You know, and that was a cool show. Like Two Guns, I fuck with heavy. I love Troy. I've known him a minute. Sacred Path, me and Nathan, the bass player, are good friends. So that was cool to play with them. And Lie really killed it that night. That was a really good show in general. And it was also cool because there's a car show.
I was just about to ask, yeah, like it was more than just like a show. There was like a cool like event tied to it.
Yeah, there's like a barbecue, car show, taco truck, like kind of a cool like fucking like AZ vibe, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't necessarily know about you, but I don't like Yuma. I know well. Yuma just feels like Riverside, but in like it's crazy because I like Yuma. Yuma hardcore goes off. We played there, and Within These Walls was like, all right, this is a different flavor, but it was cool. Ran into the singer, or like saw the singer of District 9, Puerto Rican Mike, actually there. That was crazy. I was like, dude, fuck yeah, like District 9 goes hard. You know?
Shout out New York.
Shout out New York hardcore.
Wait, why was he there?
I think he lives out
there. Oh, okay. That's crazy.
Yeah. He's a cool dude though. Really nice guy. So I just said a couple of words to him. Like, hey, fuck yeah, District 9 is amazing. He's all, thank you, man. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go now because I don't want to like punish this guy too long.
Yeah,
you know?
He's probably just trying to come out and have a normal weekend, and
he's just trying to hang out. You know, he doesn't need some like 40-year-old random guy. Just, I like District 9. He's awesome. Like I was just like, I don't want to nerd out too much, you know. But the main fest was also awesome too. Seeing the Beautiful Ones again. Seeing Bane play, seeing freaking Warriors do like the entire This Is Hell set. Intention was awesome. That band blew me away.
Yeah.
And I mean, I heard a lot of Contention anyway, but like watching them, that's amazing.
Yeah, they're killing it.
Yeah, End of Days was awesome. Apex Predator. Ooh, yeah. So really, really good show. Next year's going to be probably as awesome. I'm just happy that Within These Walls came back, you know?
Yeah, because they took a break for a couple of years.
Yeah. They were not doing stuff for a minute. And that was kind of a bummer because I remember seeing like Most Precious Blood do that in like 2011. I didn't go to the show, but I just remember looking at the flyer and being like, that's a rad show. And I couldn't make it because of work and some shit, but I remember people, with buddies and another couple bands were like, yeah, that was a really fun show. I'm like, damn it, missed it, you know? So
you mentioned that you guys might be on it next year. Is that the plan for Wrath of the Gods, is to, you know, stay busy?
Yeah, we're trying to, especially on the life stuff, like moving, you know, kid, family, all that stuff. Doing a couple weekenders here and there is probably going to be in the plan. When I can allow it, you know, or when we can have it happen.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, hopefully some people actually pick us up on some tours, or we, you know, book some cool stuff. I'm not trying to be like, hey, bigger bands, help us. I'm just like, if we get some cool offers, yeah, we'll probably take it depending on it. But we also got a couple of things we're working on right now for like Texas. Hopefully that pan out. I definitely think it should. It just depends on like my schedule, tour dates, stuff like that. Like all the fun, boring stuff behind the scenes of hardcore that you got to do, where you're like, I'm booking shows, I'm trying to see if I get the time off, trying to make sure my family's good before I go. You know, all the fun moments that is, you know, adulting while spinning plates in hardcore, which I'm definitely down. Just, yeah, we're trying to make it a little bit busier this year, but also, you know, trying to make sure that everybody's schedule lines up. You know, the more people show up, the more we'll play, you know, and the more I can get the time, I'm going to do it, you know. Especially the fact that I work in San Diego so much, I'm trying to get some shows in SD right now and a couple shows in like Riverside. Shout out Division One. But yeah, so.
Well, what about a show in Tijuana?
Ooh, I'm with it. I just got to get my fucking passport eventually. I went in.
Okay, because
yeah,
that's the pitch that I try to make to like every band that comes on here, because my friends down there, they're working hard and they book some really cool shows out in Tijuana. And I've been to some shows out in Tijuana, and it's fucking awesome to be able to, you know, go to, you know, obviously like Mexico's our neighbors, right? Crossing the border doesn't seem like that big of a deal when you're going to Mexico, because like living in Southern California, it's so close. You know, like it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but to be able to go to like a whole other country and just like, you know, see, you know, kids like love it just as much as we do here. It's a really cool thing. And I always just try to tell everybody, I'm like, yo, if you're playing San Diego, like it's right there. Like it's
yes. There's one. I remember when Death Threat played in Tijuana.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually, me and my buddy. I'm going to use his name just because he can fight me about it if he wants to. His name's Chinosky, Luke Chinosky. I love him to death, but like, you know, like the friend that you got as a goober that like just does like the one thing that you're like, don't do that.
Okay.
Please to God. So we go to Tijuana. We get to the gate, and right before we leave, or as we're going to like the USA side or leaving the USA side, Luke goes to like one of the border patrol. He's like, hey, we don't have our passports. You think we're going to be good? And I'm just like, fucking Christ, bro. Really, dude? Really? My God. Okay, here we go. So right when we get there, some guys all come with me. He's all, how'd they know? I'm all, they talk to the other border guards, you fuck. You know? So we get put in a room. And they like take our names down. They're like, all right, well, we're going to see you back out. So we like weren't able to go see Death Threat. But the cool thing is next day I was like, hey, like I had like a gig that dropped out. So I was like, fuck, I can actually go see Death Threat in San Diego. So I went to Shea Cafe and saw Death Threat in SD in 2019. Awesome show. But shout out Luke Chinoski for fucking that up.
That is crazy.
Yeah, of course, you're one buddy that like does not know how to act. Hey, you think we're gonna be okay? Like, if we just walked in and like, I was full on ready to shoot $40 to a guy, just like, here you go, that's my passport. Have a good day. He had to make it a whole thing and tell the U.S. border security that we didn't have our passports. Like, really, bro? Like, come on, man.
Damn. Well, whenever you get your passport, you guys should play.
Yes.
That would be sick.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to do right now is get my passport stuff because I would like to play Tijuana. I'd like to play South America in general. And I'd like to go like take this act to like Japan or Europe anyway. So that's a couple goals I have within the next couple of years. Play Europe, play Southeast Asia, play South America. At least get a week in each place, you know?
Yeah, dude. When I see like Zabalba going down to South America playing like some crazy places, I'm like, dude, that looks so sick.
Yeah, dude. Zabalba, like Nate and like all those dudes in Zabalba deserve all the high praise for the IE, for LA, for like hardcore in general, because those dudes were just doing it on their own. You know what I mean? They didn't get in. Right? Like they forged their own path, and that's like fucking awesome.
Dude, SOS has been a thing for a really long time, always doing cool shit.
Dude, SOS, I can't say enough good about that fucking organization. The fact that they've kept hardcore going, they've kept places living, they've kept, they had, you remember this in like the 2010s. It was like a weird period where it was like either Beatdown or it was like Screamo. And then you had like the Sound and Fury thing kind of like doing its own thing. And like either you had to be like a death metal band on like some like giant tour booking thing, or you had to be in with the right people in hardcore. And SOS just kind of was like, fuck it, we're going to do this. Like, it was a reason to go see like fucking Foundation with like Mother of Mercy. Like that was a fucking amazing show. Like Zabalba Foundation, Mother of Mercy out of Latin Juniors, back in the day, or seeing a lot of bands and seeing a lot of cool festivals, seeing a lot of cool stuff because of SOS booking. Amazing,
Yeah. And dude, even this year with like the expansion of like For the Children, like across the world, that is like,
dude,
that is really crazy, but really cool to see, like, because they've been in For the Children forever.
Yeah, since like 2013, yeah, or 2012 actually, yeah. So For the Children blowing up like they did, and the times I played a pre-show, I played a main fest of For the Children with the other band, and doing all that cool stuff, amazing, beyond hyped to see that keep going. You know what I mean? To bringing some of the coolest bands from like all the usual places that don't usually tour and getting them to play like one of the coolest fests I've ever seen,
Like honestly,
so,
I like credit them for like me being able to see a lot of awesome bands in like my like early days.
Oh yeah. Or seeing a lot of bands that like have since like weren't really doing too much since 2007. Like I want to say like the last time I saw 100 Demons back in the day was 2007 with Shai Hulud, weirdly enough, at like the showcase. And like, but for them to like bring back some amazing bands, them to keep going with like the collective that is SOS, like great dudes, great booking company, great people in general, and take care of everybody they can, so shout out those dudes. Some of the coolest shows that have happened in Southern California because of it.
100%.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. You've mentioned Pull Your Card a couple times, but if I remember correctly, you guys are kind of like pulling back with that band.
I actually pulled back with that band personally. Like they're still doing stuff. I actually just recently kind of, because of like everything going on with my life personally, where it's like I got kid, career, other bands. It was kind of a Sophie's choice situation where I'm like, all right, I don't want to necessarily like keep them held back as a collective, because like I was like kind of realizing like, dude, right now in the next couple of years with the apprenticeship for the union I'm in, with this, with that, something's going to have to suffer. And like, the only thing I can really do is like, one day I called up Joey and I'm like, yo, I'm going to not like BS you right now, but like, I don't think I can do this band right now. I'm going to step away for a minute. But like, if I come back, cool. If I don't, also cool. You know, no ill will. So it was just being a grown dude and just be like, hey, I can't really do shows right now. So, you know, and all those guys are fucking probably one of the most solid bands, solid people. Still talk to them on the daily. Still in communication, still say what's up. You know what I mean? There's no ill will. It's just, I kind of got to go my own route. I think they're going to be doing something cool very soon. I do not know because I kind of walked away like last month.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Not like a fresh wound, but it was just more like, hey, I gotta kind of make my own thing happen right now, just life wise. And in general, I was kind of like, yeah, doing these two bands that I'm touring on, and I know I don't tour a lot or I don't do a lot of shows, but like end of the day, like I, you know, would rather have more focus on Wrath right now. And also, you know, just more so make sure that I have like enough time for, I don't want to necessarily take away their time too, you know, because of my focus. So that would be completely selfish to be like, hey guys, I can't do stuff right now, so don't do shows. Like anything you guys got, like don't think of me because I want to be in it. Like no, like you guys got to succeed because you guys are fucking insanely talented, and I'm proud and happy to have been a part of that for the moment. But for the moment right now, I'm doing my own thing. They're kind of keeping it on. I will say that whatever they're going to do is awesome. So, you know, nothing but love for Pull Your Card in general. You know, love those guys. And it was a good, so far, 7 years of doing that band. So, definitely kind of just, you know, I don't know what they're up to currently right now on the inner workings, but I do know that like the last couple shows we were doing, I was like, yeah, probably got to call it a day here just due to the fact that like I got like life stuff to handle and I don't want to feel like I'm bogging it down with that, you know. So that's where I'm at about it.
Well, it's a very mature view to, you know, kind of put, you know, everyone's best interest, you know, I have you, you know, being selfish and trying to stick around because obviously that can get tough to try to juggle everything and for you to be upfront. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. It sucked having to say bye to that for a minute, you know. You know, if the planets align and I can jump back into it and they want me back, cool. If like they're on a different vibe, also cool. You know, it's just being the acceptance of like, can I juggle all this shit and what will that look like? Because something in my life will suffer as a result of it. I'm like, I got some good shit going on, but prior to joining Pull Your Card, I did not have good shit going on life wise. So those guys always will hold a very dear place in my heart, to be real. Like brothers for life at this point, you know. Especially the fact that like, you know, no ifs, ands, or buts, but Pull Your Card is like the certified fat dude hardcore. You know, you got Crowbar, you got Shattered Realm, then you got like Pull Your Card. And like, if you're over 200 pounds, that's like your thing. And on top of it, touring with those guys was like, it was probably some of the most funny moments of my life. And on top of it, I have never eaten more on a tour in my life than being a Pull Your Card. Like it is that type of get down. Like we eat like we're at like the Last Supper every time I was out with Pull Your Card. Amazing.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
And earlier, you also briefly mentioned your other band, Doom Loop. It, you know, seems like things are kind of quiet over there. I was looking at the Instagram. It's almost been like a year since like your last show.
Yeah. So we had some member changes last year. Like the singer left the band. Petey, good dude and all. But we called it a day, and then we got a new singer, Brandon from Marrow. It's just scheduling time like that. trying to figure out all the other stuff on top of it. Cause, you know, Singer's in Marrow, Dylan's in like 5 or 6 bands. There was like a running joke because he always had to be at a wedding or someone's like baby shower or something like that, our drummer. And we're like, dude, are you at another fucking wedding? Like, we'd like be like, oh, Dylan's at another wedding, bro. He's got to do another wedding. Sorry, guys. Like, we just had like this whole running joke with poor Dylan. But yeah, that band was by Kevin, who was running Supply and Demand. He was in the band The Eulogy. He shout out. Also, he was in a band, fucking Straight Face back in the day. If you remember that old band from Epitaph fame. Yeah, dude's real like old hardcore guy from Boston that moved out to LA area. So he hit me up. I want to say early 22 or like late 22. He's all, yo, you want to join Doom Loop? And I'm like, yeah, sure. He's like, maybe vocals, maybe guitar. And I'm like, I'll see. And then tried out the guitar, and it was like cool. It was like playing shit like, you know, like I Hate God or Caius or even Crowbar. But the funniest part is Kevin's not like the biggest fan of Crowbar. So we're just doing like this like sludge metal, like Black Sabbath shit, which is awesome.
And so, RIP Supply and Demand.
Yeah, dude. That's a big RIP, man. Fucking, I love that place.
Yeah, dude. I saw Madball there. That's
bro. I saw Ringworm there one night. That was fucking amazing. It was also very funny because another Chinosky story. We're outside smoking a cigarette. Human Furnace is outside, just trying to keep to himself, you know. And Chinosky just walks up to him. He's like, "So, are you guys gonna play like, you know, Justice Replaced by Revenge or what?" And like, Human Furnace just kind of like looks at him and is like, "No," and like walks inside. End of the night, like he's like, "All right, we got one last song." He looks over at Chinosky and there's just this like, Justice Replaced by Revenge. Like he knows like this is going to make him stoked to hear this song. But like, you know, Chinosky, of course, being the guy with like no social cue whatsoever, asked the guy, like, it's almost like asking Pennywise, "Are you guys going to play Bro Hymn?"
Yeah.
You know, like, dude, shut up.
Yeah, like it's like in this. It's always going to be in the set. Just relax,
bro. Chill. Even if not, it's Ringworm. Shut up. You know, like, we love Ringworm. Saw them there. I also saw, I think, Sheer Terror, one of the last times they were in town over at Supply. So Supply is played a couple times there, many a time. So Supply is good memories, man. Really good memories there.
Yeah, and for people who might not remember, like they were like pretty, crucial during COVID. They did stuff there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like all the SOS interviews would happen there. Really cool stuff happened there a lot.
Yeah.
So, and just also one of the most fun places to hang with your friends as well. Like, I'm gonna miss that place a lot, dude. So, to say the least, Supply and Demand is definitely one of the coolest spots. And well-known lore or little-known lore is like Doom Loop would go there on the off days and practice on the stage every time we'd go meet up at practice. So that was also a cool thing to do. Just meet up and like, all right, just plug in and practice like Doom Loop shit. So that was also very cool.
Okay. Well, now your plate seems pretty full music wise. Would you even entertain another band, or are you okay?
Right now, let's keep it at like one here and there. You know what I mean? Like, let's keep it at like Doom Loop and like Wrath of Gods, you know, for the moment. Because, in the next couple of years, just work wise, I want to make sure that like I'm like on top of my game, making sure that like, you know, all the usual adult goals get hit. And, you know, making sure, you know, all my fatherly duties are taken care of and all the relationship duties are taken care of before I like go like, all right, let's put another one on there. You know, would rather make sure that I'm like handling like my like apprenticeship shit and like my work stuff before joining yet another band. So if I join another band, or if I like, if I end up rejoining Pull Your Card, yeah, I want to make sure that I'm like on top of my shit work wise and life wise. So, all those fun things. It's like weird to be like, all right, I got to be mature and not ruin my life or I got to be mature and not throw caution to the wind, So it's weird to be in that mode, to be real with you. Like, and if you met me in 2010, the days of the tattoo shop, I did not give a flying fuck. I was like, I'll tour, fuck it, I don't care. Like, I'll be where I need to be, Yeah. Like that was like the mode I was in at that time. So,
yeah,
definitely.
I don't know if I'm in that mode. Maybe I don't know. I'm like weirdly obsessed with South Korea because I'm like really into like K-pop and shit.
Oh yeah.
So after visiting for like the first time last year, like that's all I like really care about. I just like, all right, I gotta do everything that I can to get back. I'm actually going back like next week, which I'm pretty excited about.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So it's like literally like a year later, I'm like finally gonna like return. And like this whole like literally like all of 2025, like I've just been like, all right, like let me just obviously continue the podcast. I love doing this. I do this like every week. And outside of that, like the only other thing that I cared to be like responsible about was making my way back to Korea. So
dude, if you have like, because like I got a kid, so I kind of have to make sure like that's in balance. My kid's getting older, so you can't put that time back. And on top of it, I'm in a really solid, stable, and healthy, not toxic relationship. So I'm trying to make sure that like I'm there for her.
Okay.
And so like all those dynamics in general, and also my job is like continually like getting a little bit more like, hey, put more priority. You're taking this whole like apprenticeship to becoming a journeyman in your career. And, I just went, all right, I'm going to like, not necessarily walking away from hardcore because I'm still doing Wrath of Gods, but I'm not like trying to have such a full schedule band wise on top of work wise, on top of, life wise. Like I want to make sure like I at least have enough, like I have enough on my plate to be like, okay, I'm busy, but also I don't have so much on my plate where I'm like, other things in my life are separate. Because, when I was like, maybe like, when my kid was a little bit younger and, me and his mom had a better dynamic, I was like, okay, cool. But now it's like, she's in a relationship, I'm in a relationship, co-parenting is a different thing. He's a little bit older. I don't want to be missing sports games for my kid. I don't want to be missing like events for him. I don't want to be like absentee because dad had to go do hardcore and put that over a priority. I wanted to make sure that like he's like top priority in general. Hardcore is always going to be there. I can always listen to it. I'm always going to be hitting a show, even when I'm like 60 or some shit. Hopefully I make it to that. You never know. No day's guaranteed, but I'm like, also weirdly enough, I had this thing in my head where I was like, maybe when he turns 13, I'll call it a day just so I can like have more focus on him. So I had this weird thing when I was like 33, 34, where I was like, I need to put out more music. So, and it was weird because it was like I hate to be like one of those like holistic, like the universe guys, but it was like I said it out loud and it seemed like whatever higher power or universe kind of made it happen, where it was like, bam, Pull Your Card puts out a demo. Year and a half later, I'm doing a Wrath of Gods EP. Right after that, I'm doing another Pull Your Card EP drops. A year after that, another Wrath of Gods EP drops. 24 Wrath of Gods 2-song drops. Now this year, and also Doom Loop as well, put out like 2 different releases. So it was like, dude, I put out a shit ton of music that like I'm proud to be like, all right, I was part of that. I was in the room. I was, there for that period. So yeah, I have like 8 different like bits of music out there because of being in 3 bands. I got to put out a lot of different content, like in this span of time, which isn't necessarily unheard of. There are dudes that are like Chris from Section 8. He's in like 4 or 5 bands, including Pull Your Car. Like that's crazy, you know? So there's some dudes that are in multiple bands. So, I'm just grateful to be a part of like doing cool stuff in hardcore, you know? CJ from, who used to be in Load the Nine, that's in Harsh Reality. He's been in like 5 bands at one point where I saw him. I'm like, dude, you're in Life Turns Cold, this band, this band, this band, this band. Jesus Christ, bro. Like, what the fuck? But that's also very cool to see people like put out a lot of music. So I am grateful to have put out as much as I have. So maybe slowing it down a little bit's a little bit of a different mode shift for me, but I'm stoked on it. You know what I mean?
100%.
So yeah, that's where my head's at. You there?
Yeah, I'm saying.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, cool. My buddy's calling me back again. I don't care. I love him, but you know, I'll get back to that. I'm talking about hardcore and trying to be a somewhat responsible parent.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I'm happy to hear that you're in a relationship that's not toxic because
God. Boy,
you were like recently on a trip, which I was like surprised about. I was like, oh, he's like a world traveler. He's like was it Chicago? Yeah. Right, Chicago.
Yeah, I was in Chicago with Heather, my girlfriend. Like she had she's actually calling me right now too. Crazy. I'll call her back in a bit. But she had a women's conference for her union, and you know, we were talking about it, and I had like, you know, I had like the Wrath of Gods run that we had, you know, a couple dates dropped just because of like other shit with booking. But I told her, I'm like, yo, I got like these days right now that I'm gonna play with Wrath of Gods. And we like kind of were like, hey, how about we like go see Chicago since you're out there? You put a couple more days on it. I'll come fly out. We'll hang out. We'll do like 4 days, just kind of like actually vacationing as a couple. Not like, hey, I'm playing a show in Reno. Do you want to spend a couple days with me in Reno while I play a show? Or like, hey, we actually wanted to go do a vacation and check out a city. And that was fun. That was actually really cool. You know, because there's a little bit of world traveling I did for my job when I was like doing a lot of freelance, like tech stuff for a corporate and like festival stuff. So I'd go out, I'd help set up, I'd hang out, I'd kind of like see like the Southwest and then I'd bounce, you know, but, or I'd be like on like a job site for a week. So I'd barely get out. I'd just go to my hotel like that. But, or I'd help somebody's production company drive like a truck from like LA to Oakland and then fly back and then go jump on another job and then be San Diego to like Orange County to like SE all the time. So it's nice to kind of like actually vacation with somebody, do that type of thing, you know, or because it's weird to be in a mode where I'm like, oh, I'm actually on a vacation with somebody. It wasn't like I'm going on tour so I can see the world. You know, like, which is also cool, but it was a different mode, different vibe, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like it gives you a chance to like, to, you know, get to know each other on another level, right? Spending like, you know, that much time together, being around each other constantly.
Oh yeah. Like the only thing I can complain about that trip was like, we got like those like lift bikes, you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
And I chose the regular bike and she got the e-bike and I was just like, but also at the same time, I'm a big dude, so I'm like, oh, I'm not actually dying on a bike right now, you know? So it was cool just to go like bicycle around fucking all of Chicago one of the nights that we did and get to see like the Marry the Children fountain as well. That was big W in my opinion as well. So yeah, doing adult stuff is oddly fun. I don't know how to say it, but it's very cool.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to see. Yeah, because when I was, you know, seeing it pop up on my Instagram, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Because I've never been to Chicago, so
yeah, like Chicago is weird because, like, it's got this weird kind of city vibe, like it's basically like a very big Midwest city, probably one of the biggest cities in the Midwest, right? Like a massive hub. It kind of reminds me of San Diego in the weirdest way, but downtown San Diego is very small compared to how big downtown Chicago is. There's like different boroughs, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not as big as New York, but it's just nearly there. So Chicago was awesome. Definitely one of the cooler cities I've ever experienced. And the vibe is very, like, people in Chicago and San Diego also kind of have the same vibe where it's like, I was born in Chicago. I've been here for this many years. I'll probably die here, you know, where you meet dudes in San Diego who are like, I was born in San Diego. Like, meeting a 60-year-old guy in Orange County, like, you're usually like, where are you from? Originally from Indiana, and then I moved to Wisconsin. Then I moved to New York. Now I'm in Orange County. Met a woman, and now we have a house in the suburbs. Nobody really like Orange County is like the end zone. Like Chicago's like the zone, beginning, middle, and end. And as is San Diego, because let's be real, San Diego's fucking beautiful. Like, you go to like Carlsbad or fucking, you know, PB or OB, like, you're like, holy shit, like, this is really nice beachside area, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I get it, you know? So I met guys in my union. They're like, yeah, I grew up in shit. Like, I grew up in San Diego. I lived in Loma Linda. You know where that's at? Like, they like get offended that you're from out of town. It's hilarious.
That's funny.
Like, yeah, no, dude. Yeah. So Chicago was cool. It was definitely a cool spot to experience.
All right. Well, Taylor, this has been awesome. I'm happy that we're finally able to, you know, lock this in and, you know, talk about your music. And I appreciate you, you know, being so down, because obviously, like, I've like, you know, bugged you enough about it, and I'm just happy that, you know, we were finally able to do this. So, before we sign off, is there anything else you would like to say?
Yeah, check out the new Wrath of Gods. I know there's 2 Spotify's, but you see the one with the red skull on it. That's the newest one. The one with me looking fat on the regular profile is the other 2 EPs. Hopefully it all gets figured out. But yeah, well, talk to you soon, my guy. It was really good seeing you, man.
All right. Well, truly appreciate your time. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye.